This is the hardest challenge in Terraria. A cursed world full of weird mechanics which completely change the way you play the game, along with its own extremely cursed boss. But before we explore this insane world, let's first find out how to actually play it. Most of you will probably know about this already, but for those who don't, Terraria has these secret seed worlds which will change the way the world generates or add weird features to the game. But one of these secret seeds combine all of the other secret seeds together and more. That seed is Get Fixed Boy. When generating the world, you'll see this star minigame where every star you hit makes the world even crazier by adding more traps, chests, and other things to the world. Let's start an adventure in this world now. I mean, how bad could it be? Your journey starts in the underworld, where you find these NPCs throwing a party, just to watch them all die after the party ends. Your first goal is to get to the surface, where falling ash and lava slow your ascent. As you pass by each layer of the world, you start noticing that the biomes are completely flipped. The forest is at the bottom of the world, and while the caverns would usually be deep below the surface, they are now near the top. You finally reach the hostile surface where gravity is weak and you find enemies literally everywhere. You decide to start preparing for the Eye of Cthulhu and venture into the caves. You search for life crystals but are met with life crystal boulders. Some enemies are tiny while others are giant, and you even start finding queen beehives throughout your world. You've gathered enough items to finally take on the Eye of Cthulhu. You prepare an arena underground and spawn in the Eye, not knowing what to expect, but it appears that the Eye of Cthulhu is relatively unchanged besides being a little stronger. And although the Eye of Cthulhu fight wasn't too hard, you now have a good idea of what this crazy world has to come. This world contains both the Corruption and the Crimson, so you're going to have to face both world evil bosses. Let's start with the Brain of Cthulhu, which is made bigger and flips gravity in its final phase. The Eater of Worlds is even worse though. Just like the Brain of Cthulhu, it is much bigger, and every time it splits, it will spawn an Eater of Souls, which will shoot vile spit at you, along with the Eater of Worlds itself. You're going to need quite a bit of preparation for these bosses, so you head back into the mines to upgrade your gear. The endless amount of traps make it extremely tedious to get anything done, and one of these traps is literally a bouncy boulder. Like, what the hell even is this? You go through harsh battles against the world evil bosses, eventually emerging victorious. And now you want to battle Skeletron, but where is the dungeon? It's not at the edges of the world like usual, no. It's hidden underneath this one specific living tree with dead leaves. Upon entering the dungeon, you will find this small dark space to fight Skeletron, and good luck finding him down here because he can also deflect projectiles while spinning and is way faster in the seed. But once you do defeat him, you'll be ready to battle the hardest boss of pre-hard mode, the Wall of Flesh. The preparation is annoying, but not anything more difficult than a normal world. The same cannot be said for the actual fight though. You cast the guide voodoo doll into the lava and see the giant wall of flesh emerge from the distance. It spawns up to 4 buffed fire imps for the entire duration of the fight, and as it gets closer to the end, it gets extremely fast. The fire imps do so much damage that getting hit just a couple of times could mean death. But after trial and error, you finally manage to defeat the Wall of Flesh, and are now in hard mode, where the craziest boss in Terraria awaits you. In this seed, you don't fight the regular mechanical bosses like usual, but instead combine them all into one boss called Mechdusa. This is going to be the hardest part of your adventure. You smash demonoids in the world evil biomes. Hardmode is unforgiving at first and the enemies are extremely powerful, but you manage to obtain all of the items you need. You craft the Mechdusa summon and spawn it in. You witness this absolute monstrosity appear before your eyes while thinking about how on earth you're going to defeat this thing. You fight hard and it takes many attempts, but after honing your strategy, you manage to tear down this boss piece by piece, finally defeating the abomination that is Mechdusa. Although the hardest part of your adventure is over, that doesn't mean that the rest of hard mode will be easy. As the jungle grows restless, you search for chlorophyte and life fruits, but with it being the Get Fixed Boy seed, actually getting them proves to be a very difficult task. You build an arena and find a bulb to spawn Plantera. Every time she hooks onto something, she fills the area with thorns. The fight only gets worse as Plantera enters her second phase, where her tentacles start shaking. The fight is getting harder, but all of your preparation pays off and Plantera finally gets defeated. You now want to move on to Golem, which you're expecting to be easier. I mean, it's Golem, how hard could it be? We first need to find Golem's temple, which isn't actually in the jungle where it would normally be, but instead on the surface. You navigate through the hallways of the jungle temple, find a power cell, and eventually end up at Golem's chamber and build a small arena. You use the power cell to summon a tiny Golem, and as he starts jumping around, you notice that your screen is getting darker, and he's also stealing your torches. This makes the fight much more difficult than it would normally be, especially considering that Golem is also a lot stronger in the seed, and you end up having immense trouble trying to take all of them down, but once you do, you move on to the lunatic cultist, which apart from attacking faster, doesn't have as much of a crazy change as the other bosses, so you manage to defeat him on your first try. The celestial pillars are now invading your world, and have spawned throughout the underground. You take them down one by one, crafting the best weapons you can get and waiting for impending doom. After this, you would have finally completed your journey of beating Terraria's hardest challenge. This realization dawns upon you. You start remembering all of the crazy things that have happened in this world. The traps, the dungeon, the bosses, and then the Moonlight has awoken. You know there is going to be a twist with this fight. Just like with all the other bosses, you quickly find out that the Moonlight erupts 30 moon boulders after every Phantasmal Death Ray attack, which are also bouncy by the way. You need to be very careful in this fight. You try your absolute best to dodge every single attack and give the Moonlight everything you have. The fight gets closer and closer. One hit could mean death, but the Moonlight eventually collapses, and you celebrate your victory over Terraria's most difficult seed.